Welcome to the clouds. You have a wooden stinger. If it's wood, that means that you give me a splinter, right? So, I present to you Toku Traffic Cone. She has a wiggly foot right now. Need some crafts today, and we're repainting those thingies. Yeah, because they need to be more colorful with orange and white. Yeah, because he's my undercoat before we do all the splotchy. Undercoat. Whoosh. Chocolate fudge on the inside. Marshmallow, the very thin marshmallow, sandwiched between.
Things turn wet only to dry.
That's a strange drying position.
Some painted spots made extra noise.
What about my inside?
We scooch this guy away.
Okay.
The maker of said mouse liked the bolts, and so the ears are bolted. They are this protected safe. Even scissors did not cut it. And well, the crown did the trick though. Surprisingly, the crown was less secure than the ears. It is the royal traffic cone that shall be. But as for the ears, I just kind of snipped off the actual ear without the bolt. They just stayed bolt in the ear, as you can see. But Toku, she's describing me the traffic cone. You see, this is how she wants it. She wants it to be a paper wrap-up. It's going to be a big old roll, and we're going to just smack it on there. Some tape around to clobber the edges. We're going to clobber them. We're going to smoosh the paper. Wa-chow. A little choppy to the edges, and it is a cone. And I remembered those ears, I was looking at the bee. He kind of looks like he has some extra wings. They're 3D wings now. Now, traffic cones have their bases, so we have the cardboard base cut out. It is a smack on there. I just wanted to try on the hat, yes, but despite my lack of not being able to try on a hat, we have the corners. They're all chopped off, and they shimmy down there. Shimming it down there in order to bring it back up to the glue. And turning the glue around or smushing it on there. I kind of went my scissors a little bit, dig underneath there, and it's secure in place. And with the scissors, we're gonna dig out a nice hole. That's a whole hat. It's a good hat. It's a very good hat. We're gonna dig out that nice hole. Oh, it's a beautiful hat. The hat fits Miss Toku. And now to save my beautiful head string wrap, it is the chin thing. You're just gonna snip it off and place it on, but on the inside here.
Yes.
Now releasing my traffic cone into the wild, I'm gonna refix up her shoe. Just a little peck there, just a peck.
And now that I've successfully balanced you on a giant container of crayon, the colorful color.
So it's up to my bee. I flipped my head and made his base less of a sunset sandy and more of an actual traffic cone. I filled in the orange and blended in some white to make the bee look like he's in the sun. He's roasting in the sun. Well, do bees even like the sun? I'm mixing paint right now outside your vision view, but we go back in and do the innermost whites. Sometimes I feel like the white is there to actually brighten the orange and the orange to the white, because only together does the color actually pop into view, or maybe just my understanding of traffic cones. I concluded an extra white strip under the watery welcome, and it kind of looked like a giant white cloud stretching out. They're called stratus clouds, because the word means spreading out in Mr. Latin-y language. Now, let me wave my hands like a magic dude, then outline the spiderweb in a pumpkin orange. Yeah, spiderwebs can be trapped in pumpkins, but that's just because the spider itself ambled into the pumpkin and trapped himself there. Let's return to Mr. Graffiti Monster Man. He was purple and I splattered him, and so it's like he was trotting through a massive pile of purple and pink graffiti art and then a little splottle of gray around. But I assure you, he's a dude graffiti man, just in the wrong area, maybe having walked through the graffiti art of Unicorntopia. And I had too much purple, so I migrated some to the back and smushed it there with my remainder pink, and then some bluish grayish, but that just kind of came out purple. And then I went crazy and made a butterfly. Why? That wasn't a question, but a statement.
He lives. My butterfly bee lives.
He was black and I think was a friend of Mr. Graffiti Dude who called him over. I surprisingly spent quite a lot of time on Butterfly Dude before once again erasing him from this dimension with blobs. Just blobs of color. I'm sneaky like that. This time, my ombre was orange, purple, and white. And then a blend. And I think I let it dry before flipping it, but the video says otherwise. Now, I went around the blue edges, thickening the water if water can be thickened. But you look at the water, but when you look at water, something special happens. Its reflection transfers into your open eyeballs, and you get blue eyes, such as the eyeballs on Sir B's. And then I remembered I'd forgotten some eyeballs, and I gave them their water too. So Grandpa Dude got his little outline that I filled in the spiderweb. And then a brand new world of singing entered my mind.
Bees that fly around and they migrate like birds.
So now the bees have taken over the skies and the birds cannot migrate. And you may see that there's one empty splash. I needed yellow, and so I searched. By God, but golly, you don't see any yellow. So I reached into my camera holder and got myself a yellow crayon. This one survived my fingers' aggressively yellow pressure. It then snapped. It just snapped. But I had goldenrod yellow, so I've survived the remaining of filling in that yellow space. Filling in some spaces with white, including that tiny blotch, which just wouldn't unblotch. And then my awkward angle here. And now we make thy bee less important because he has more upon him, and make more important that whom has less color upon him.
Bye bee. Goodbye bee. Goodbye bee. I welcome you. I welcome you.
I feel like Shakespeare. And he heard my pleas, giving me a solution to my yellow issue. And just in time too, because when I flipped Mr. Traffic Cone, he was pale white. He really needed some sun in blobs, and thus made him into a sunset. Oh. Now under the sunset, the water ripples. But my blue was just not cooperating with me. One was the consistency of water, and the other of poo. And I didn't know what to do. It's hard to blend colors when they don't exactly mix equally, except when the whole thing is thick. So I mixed kind of the liquidy with the poopy, and it worked. And now that takes a while to dry, so we point the camera at a certain traffic cone in the wild. And he is bare. So I attached him to my hair and gave him the best haircut ever, which consisted of one single snip.
This is a process in the meanwhile. Now, that's more. There we go.
Then I covered up his bareness with some clothing, leaving some slits out so Mr. Traffic Cone could breathe. The layers were orange and white, perfectly stacked on top of each other. Now, do not forget, this is Toku's hat. And I bypassed this rule for a second and stated it was a cake.
Hello, madam. I have delivered your pizza. Slice it in half. Okay, ooh la la, I'm a fancy waiter. Uh-huh. Ha.
Now that the sunset is all dry, I began my pencil hang glider. Why? Now this is a question. See, this why can be explained by a book. My book. My almost book. In it, Toku encounters a dude who was hang gliding upon a pencil-shaped hang glider. Now, I did destroy this hang glider because I wanted more proportionality. The pro of the poor T. The poor T. From my tiny corner, you can see my tiny speck of sand. My tiny speck of sand is all hidden, And now that my wiped off hang glider had dried, I made a line of poor T and then outlined my sail the boat. Leftover paint? Well, why not just bring over that towel that had wiped away Sir Hang Glider and blotch it on like a blotchy. Yeah. And now for some better poor tea, I made something of a cross, like the bare bones of a hang glider, and then triangle outline for the hang glider's sail portion. Actually, now that it's like poor property, but I suppose the hang glider's property is the skies. When I sing my property, poor is also the skies. It's my voice to the air. And now obviously this isn't all watery ocean, and there is a speck of city in the distance, the city of Bimbladat, where Toku lives. Though separating her house from the giant city is a giant forest, a giant palm tree forest. You shan't forget that hat, because it had an inside coat in white. And here returns a good old odd-looking hang glider. At a more proper angle, I went in with the eraser, the pencil midsection, the black drippy, and the gray lower section. It was precisely perfect in angle, dripping outward as though parallel to the skies.
No.
And as I shaded in a shadowed area of the water, I just couldn't help but wonder what that blue chunk of a blob was under Sir Sailboat. As for the skies, I added some blobs to cover up the region where I smushed the pencil glider, a cloud or a snowman. And I kind of just actually lightened it all up. And I mean, up above the sunset would be a night sky, and so it came the blackness of that handle. But now that I say this, I would have loved to add some sparkly white stars to said handle too. But nah. And then I did a flip-a-rooney back over to my house. Toku's house. Mostly, it's just the unpainted surfaces that jumbled me. And so, I got out the jumbles with some flip-a-roonies. And so I pulled out my conceptual drawing to compare it to the beautiful real thing that's happening here. Apparently I chose yellow, but then I disapproved of my choice. I wanted a limited color palette here, and instead helped myself to a fabulous gray. Oh! I filled in most of the remaining spaces with the shadow of a color, then thickened up the blue. Although thicken doesn't mean brighten. See, I ran out of blue, or I thought I had, and by my defeated hand. You can see how pleased I was to figure out that my missing blue was actually just this chunky blue with a lot of white mixed in. Now, as for blues, it was sky time to outline that sky. So I went in, then I chunkied up the orange layers. Now, grass is rather chunky, but I used up the remainder of my older grassy colors and thus got new ones. And they weren't the same. And in with new green, I went to form my cloud of a grass. Although I did have a wondering about a certain cloud. So I was wondering about cloud clearness and whether they're just a reflection in the sky or what. Are they reflecting off something? The blue sky makes them seem white, and ocean water reflects off the sky. So maybe they're reflecting off something. And they're in their gas state, but condensed. So perhaps they're just bouncing off each other, particles just bouncing off each other. And the light of each other, the prism of all light, because they don't absorb any color, and thus all that bouncing makes them seem white. And now with my paintbrush did some final speck ups. Even my head of hair was a special speck up. Most colors I've done here are light, even the gray. So when that zipper intrigued me, its color was just certain. Then the opposite of blackness came in with that white for the surrounding space. And in the midst, So I made a poem about snowman and magic, and here we go. It's called Mr. Magic. Lyrics will be on the screen. So what if the winter wonderland went crashing on? And there you go. It's yippee. Yippee. Ooh.
Not my full dance.
When art is finished, now what do? We create a funky dance. Have Sir Birdie sail in the open seas on Sir Trapper.
The house you can enter. Ooh, a front door, huh? We need to draw a door there.
And now to outline the glass dome ceiling, it's overhead. Ooh. The glass dome ceiling to outline. The birds can fly overhead. They can also draw on it with their bird poop, yeah. And be a streaky mess of lines.
It's like one of those, like when you go to a planetarium, you have one of those big giant domes, but that instead of the giant dome, well, it's a light. It's a window. It's just you see the sky. It's not yellow, but you see the sky. Then you open it. And enter the interior. You have a trapper. What do you store in here? What do you store? You store the random books I've made. The random books. Oh, you make a book inside. And then you zip them all up. If you find a zipper, you zip them all up. And the magic. Oh, the magic. It's the beautiful color. Exquisite recipe. Exquisite recipe. That is our beautiful word for today. And you're off. We're off. Has another life. We have a hat, but we don't have or. See you in the clouds. Let's see you in the clouds. Figure me out. Into the unknown.